This is the morning show on Signature Television. In about 15 minutes from now, we're going to be having Mr. We're going to be having a guest by 10. That's on our Abuja studio. He just won his court case. That's Mr. Dennis Abo. Dennis Abo is the one who won his court case. This particular matter has been on for some time now. And finally, the appeal court put it to rest. And Dennis Abo is now the member. It's now affirmed that Labour Party's Dennis Abo won that particular election. We'll bring you details concerning that in a couple of minutes. But first, let's talk about something else that we thought it's important to you, which is the increased rate of trafficking of Nigerian teenagers abroad. We have with us Sam Ofer, Commander, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Enugu Zone. Good to have you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. How much of this do you think Nigeria knows or Nigerians knows that about the trafficking in persons?
Okay, Nigerians are very much aware that there's a global outcry for trafficking in persons, especially our teenagers, being taken from Nigeria to African countries like Mali, Ghana, and so many other states, and in Europe. And it's alarming because it causes a lot of harm to our Nigerian citizens. And the effect is that it has a lot of negative impact on us, in that many times these victims, when rescued, you find out they have health problems. Many of them die on their way to the destination countries, and it is not good for us. And us at NAPTIP, we are making all efforts to make sure that this menace is put into stop.
Well, what are the reasons why this trafficking in persons happened? And with your efforts and what you have seen over the years, what are the consistent reasons why these things happen?
The reasons why this happens is that, first and foremost, is the poverty, the high rate of poverty in the country. Secondly, is illiteracy and ignorance of persons, hoping and believing that the grass is greener on the other side, the Western world. Then we have greed, we have cultural and family pressures that make these youths feel that there's a need for them to leave or migrate out of the country. Then we have also the educational side of it, where an insecure education, where people are less knowledgeable about the effects of this human trafficking. Then we have we have also issues of victims. That's the people, because of insecurity in the state, the high rate of insecurity in the country. This also exacerbates the reasons why people leave their local communities to a greener or safer place. These are the causes of human trafficking in the country.
So are there measures, NAPTIP are put in place to curb this increased trafficking, or any policy that you have put in place to curb it?
Yes, NAPTIP have been doing its best to make sure that this menace is nipped in the bud. We have 5 strategies we use in curbing the incidence of human trafficking in our society. First is a preventive measure, which entails that we go to places, churches, schools, marketplaces, hospitals, and other communities, interact and have engagement with the local chiefs to explain and sensitize them on issues of human trafficking. So through preventive measures, we enlighten the public, and we are also doing our best to make sure that this information goes to the victims. That's the most, especially women and children, who that are very much are the most vulnerable persons in the cases of human trafficking. So we are doing our best through our preventive measures by public enlightenment. Then we have the protection. The protection aspect of it is through our agency. We investigate cases of human trafficking. We prosecute the traffickers. We also have shelter. That's
Is it rehabilitation?
that's we have shelters. That's our protective measures. We have shelters where we keep victims of human trafficking. Is a temporary home where these victims or persons of or our survivors are kept temporary, where they receive social psychological support for the trauma they are going through. We also engage them in skill acquisition and also empower them to make sure that they are reunited with their families and reintegrated into the society as functional members of the society. And we also have partnership, which is also the measures we also take in combating these issues of human trafficking. By partnership, we collaborate with stakeholders, the CSOs and the faith-based organizations. We collaborate also, we work in partnership with the state through the state task force. We here in Enugu, we have the Enugu State Task Force, where the Attorney General of Enugu State, Dr. Tochukwu Ude, is the chairman, and NAPTIP is the co-chairman of the task force. So through partnership, we also collaborate with media outfits like yours that we are here today. We partner with media personnel and agents and institutions in combating human trafficking. Then we have policy, which is also the laws that we use. We have Trafficking in Person Prohibition Enforcement Act 2015, which law came into being in 2003, and it was amended in 2005 and reenacted in 2015. This is the law that established NAPTIP and also provides the stiff penalties for punishment of traffickers. And we have regulations. Presently, there's a regulation that we use to curb the incidence of human trafficking called Trafficking in Persons, Control of Organizations and Centers. Regulation 2019. This regulation empowers us to check the students, like students that are going for excursions, educational excursions, those going for sports activities, those having shelters, homes, because we also have types of trafficking that operates in homes, like orphanage trafficking, where people gather children and we assume that these are orphans or these are vulnerable persons that need help, while in actual fact, what these people do, what these managers of this home do is traffic these children. So we look into all this. We also have this regulation 2019 helps us to also check cultural excursions and music activities or music excursions outside the country, because many traffickers use all forms of device to make people leave the country, while in actual fact what they are going to do is to use those especially girls, to use them as sexual exploitation. And is very worrisome activities that traffickers use in luring our young ladies, especially young girls, out of the country for these human trafficking cases.
So what are the major destination countries where Nigerian trafficked children or teenagers are being taken to? And are there measures that those countries are putting in place to, regulate or to curb this menace? Or are they even facing any challenge in addressing the problem?
Yes, Nigeria is origin, transit and destination country for traffickers. Yes, you have internal trafficking, and we also have external. The internal is that we have persons that move from rural areas to urban cities. You have people moving from hinterlands to the cities, and these persons that are involved in human trafficking use these victims or for domestic servitude, sexual exploitations. You have them like in Enugu State. We have the incidence of human trafficking high in Enugu State is having underage girls on brothels, child prostitution. and domestic servitude, and we have also baby factory cases. These are forms of human trafficking. And the measures we put in place is that we also do surveillance, and we also arrest. We also have people reporting to us on these issues of human trafficking. So the measures we are taking is, I say that we have the five strategies. And as you said, who is the destination country for Nigerians
Yes.
living in Nigeria? Yes, uh, the destination country for Nigerians most times now is African countries, because Europe and North America has made it difficult for you to enter their country by through the airports, and also considering the cost of traveling by air. So Nigerians now take the route to go abroad by road. And the issue is that you will have persons from Enugu State. First, they move them from Enugu. This is where I'm in control, and this is where the intelligence I get is within this state. They move from Enugu to Abuja. Then from Abuja, they move from Abuja to Kanu, because Kanu is a border town to that's Ilia. You have Ilia border. That's from there they move to Niger, and from Niger they will promise that they get to Libya, and when you get to Libya, it's easier for you to get from Libya to Spain, and it's easier for you to get from there to Libya, from there to Italy, and they did not tell these victims what you meet on the road, because to cross from from Nigeria to Mali, or you have to cross the Sahara Desert. And how do they cross the Sahara Desert? It's through the land, by land. And this issue is that many of the victims, many of these young persons that want to migrate, many of them die on the road, die at the Sahara Desert, because you see them, they have catches of water, and how long will the water sustain them to pass it through the Sahara Desert? Then to cross the sea, before you cross to Spain, or you have to cross the sea, and they don't have the smugglers don't have the way without the big ships to carry all these victims, and many of the ships capsize, and many of them die on the sea. So the people that survive this train are just few, and these are the tricks the traffickers use, because they don't divulge all the information to these our young persons that leave Nigeria for a greener pasture. And many of them, when you get the victims and you try to explain to them that, look, you are embarking on a dangerous journey, they will tell you, no, Nigeria is difficult and we have nothing to do. They have promised me a better job over there where I will earn thousands of dollars. And you ask the person, the information we got from, or the intelligence we got, is that this your intending helper asks you to pose naked, asks you to show all the figures, all parts you have, and he has promised you that you are going to do a cleanup in Libya. Then you ask her, if you're a cleaning job or work in a factory, do you have to snap naked? Will the person telling you all these things, he has promised you're going to get over there abroad, that person that wants you, that you maybe online or somebody in the village, the local recruiter, he doesn't or she doesn't have sisters that she wants to take abroad to make that money. But she met talking oranges that she wants to take abroad to make money. So the money she wants you to make is not okay good for her own relation to you that she just met on the road. So these are deceptive measures. Girls,
I'm shocked at the willingness, in fact, that comes with it, because sometimes come with willingness. I think some few years ago, I was reading up on something, and somebody was saying that to travel abroad, that you, even with 250,000 naira, you can travel abroad. That somebody said if you just want 60,000 naira now, they can take you abroad. And I'm like, are you like seriously 250,000? How is it through air? Is it the cost or the cost of the transportation or what? So, but the willingness, like it's market, because of what you have mentioned, family pressures, poverty, on market of people who are largely unemployed and who knows that just if you rose, that's a lot of money in Nigeria. Once you send half of that, it will look like you are made, but it's more money over there. It's the job is even difficult for you, for the organization. And I'm wondering how like what is the organization really doing in terms of trying to curb this? Because it's not your fault that most Nigerians are. It's not your fault that most people, you know, are out of school. Filling market already for this thing to happen. So curbing that, how? Because it's even with monies, even if you are giving monies to do this thing, want something to be trafficked. That's the one that is even scary the most. Not the one that they will deceive you to come to this place, come to that, and they deceive you, and you find yourself doing something different. But this one is less to go just go abroad, whether air or by land or by sea or by ship. You know, they just want that opportunity.
Yes, you know, and nobody, even the person that if he brings 200,000 naira, he will be taken to outside Nigeria. Same, if you bring 200,000 naira and you die, the chances is 2 to 10 you are going to die in Sahara Desert. Will you go? You know, let me define trafficking. Trafficking means the recruitment, the transportation, transfer, or receipt of a person by this coercion, abduction, by use of force for exploitative purposes. And this definition explains maybe to the minimum: exploitation of prostitution of others, slavery or slave-like conditions, putting somebody in slavery or slave-like conditions, armed organ harvesting, for organ and tissue harvesting. These are what trafficking. And for a trafficking to take place, us to have a mandate, you know, when we analyze issues of trafficking, use that there are 3 elements that that makes up a case to be a trafficking. You have the act, the means, and the purpose. These 3 elements are very cognitive in of cases of human trafficking. So you find out that deception most times plays a vital role, because most of the victims are being deceived.
Seen is
the willing market.
There's this apart from the deception, that people, even the prostitution we are talking about, that people who don't mind, they will tell you that she is prostitution. I'm willing to do that. So it's doing that. Is the person also culpable?
No, I say the prostitution is that exploitation of prostitution of others. That exploitation is that is a prostitute above 18 years. We don't have issues with that. It's not within a mandate. If a lady decides to prostitute and makes her money, it's not within NAPTIP's mandate. At times we go for raid or covert operations, and we meet, maybe we get about 50s that are prostituting. When we profile that they are willing prostitutes, it's not our case.
Okay.
Maybe the police can from there, but when a person is in a brothel, she meets a man, and the earning institution goes to a madam
Okay.
unwillingly, case of human trafficking.
Okay.
Yes, because somebody is exploiting her level.
Okay.
So the willing market we have is that on our own, all we do is prevention is better than cure. You know, we lay more emphasis on preventive by enlightening the people through like this forum I am now, and school awareness, markets, go to all places, nook and crannies of this state on sensitization, training, or letting people know about the ills of human trafficking, and that's what we do. But the issue you raise raises a fact that human trafficking is a high profit with a low risk, because all you needed is to convince somebody, and the person is a willing tool for you, and that's slavery, commercialization of human person, and you sell off the person and take. You did not do much. All you did was convincing the person, and the person was good. In that, being gullible is not, as you mentioned, is because we are in poverty is high. We can't deny it. The insecurity, because if we tell somebody to now to travel from one location to he will just reason, am I going to come back alive? You know, if I'm taking on the road, the people, the terrorists, or the people that are even in organ code. What we realize now of late is that, you know, many a time we just think kidnapped and is ritual murders. It is not. We now have to know that it is not even ritual murders. It's organ harvest. So you find out that somebody is, you say, this person is doing ritual murder, but he's not doing ritual because he knows that even the herbalist that does not have fund will not make him rich, because if the herbalist wants to be rich, he will make himself. So you find out these men are involved in organ harvesting, taking organs, human tissues, liver, kidney, and the rest of it, and bone, you know, and taking them and selling them off, and money, and people say is a ritualist, but what they are doing is organ harvest, is a crime under our art. So it's a difficult situation we found ourselves, and I know that the government have to play a role in social security, uplifting the people's standard of living, because if people have a good standard of living, and they can provide for themselves, any reason why somebody should go to Libya to do house cleaning? Yeah. And I don't even see a reason why our youth will be very willing to prostitute outside. Now the prostitution has gone down, that you have underage girls now living in. So it's actually a very dire and hot situation we are in as a country and as a state.
It's an interesting discussion here, really. So how is the government really? Is government doing well? I understand that I hear those raids here and there every now and. I know that's not enough. How enough can government do to put you guys on your toe every single day? And does also your organization receive information about Enugu as a state, amount of persons that have been trafficked? I mean, you also mentioned that trafficking is not just about sending another across the border, but it's also when you employ somebody within your household, and then you are subjecting them to some certain kinds of unruly behavior. Can you talk that to those issues?
Yes. The government is doing its bit, And I do think it can never be enough. They are supporting the agency. Civil servant, and the is also helping the agency. In Enugu, I'm the zonal commander at NAPTIP, and we have the state task force. NAPTIP operates a federal legislation, Trafficking in Persons Law Provision Act 2015, and for us in the states, the state be part of what we are doing. We have state task force trafficking, and the state task force on human trafficking is being chaired by the Attorney General, and the work of the state implements what we are doing. So the state buys in activities of NAPTIP here in the state, and there are also when we go to them, I am the co-chair of the state task force. I have an open door with Attorney General. We relate, and we discuss on issues of and ways the state helps, and so far so good. We are doing well, and we believe with the state support too, and the federal government will do more in Enugu. So that's it.
All right. I want to say a very big thank you, Sir Time. I would truly appreciate you. You could mention just before we go, would somebody reach out to an RT just in case there's an issue? Because I know in the South mostly have is this baby factory thing. We used to normally hear those questions, and then can people reach out to NAPTIP? Is there a phone call? Do you have offices in across the Southeast? Where are these offices located?
Yes, we here in the Southeast, we have the zonal command that is situated here in Enugu State. All the states, we have the 5 eastern states, the Enugu, Ebonyi, Imo, and Abia states, and Enugu State supervises the 5 eastern states because it established when the NAPTIP came into being in 2003. In 2006, Enugu established. Subsequently, other state offices came into being. So, in Enugu State, as I said earlier, we have our administrative block at the Ekulu West, GRA, behind Parkland Hospital. That's where our office. And we also have a shelter where victims of human trafficking and gender-based violence or survivors are kept. The other one is close to our chest. We keep these our survivors. Then we have also a phone line where you reach to us. We have zeros is 070 30,203. Then we take 070 30,203. And we have a phone line that you can. This is a general call free for NAPTIP. The one I gave first. Here in Enugu, we have a rapid response squad, and the phone number of the officer of that place or that is manning is 070 311 9718. Once you'll be heard, and we'll take your intel or information. Then we have a website for Enugu State here. Is info@naptip.gov.ng. Yes, these are avenues, or you can actually reach us. You have issues of human trafficking, you call us and we will.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. We truly, really appreciate Impute on the show for giving us some eye-opening insights into what the issues are. The family pressures that you mentioned is really rife. I mean, these days we inundated with calls from to ask for monies, and when you are under that kind of pressure, you tend to do some other things. Some go as far as even giving out their kids, child labor or even marriage. I've also seen an issue. Parents decide to give out their kids that are less than 18 to a man who's as old as the father. And then you wonder headed, when you have that kind of situation, how do you come in? Who reports? Because it is the willingness of the parents. The child may not be willing, but again, it will look like he doesn't go. She would leave the family in poverty. So in this situation, how does it?
Yeah, you know, we have Violence Against Person Prohibition Act. Yeah? That law operates in Abuja that gives mandate to look at this kind of issues. And here in Enugu State, we have Violence Against Persons Law of Enugu State. That's the VAP law of Enugu State. So on issues of marriage of a person under 18 years, you know, it comes with scenarios, and it also comes to with law. Nigerian law says that for a person to be married, at least the person has to be under 18 years. Then the customary law. The customary law gives a lesser age, and both are, if a man marries under the custom, not under the act, you can't say that the marriage is not.
Yeah, okay.
So it has a cultural issues to that. But when a girl, because a marriage requires a consent, when a 18 years says I don't want to marry and I'm forced into, we actually have a hand to let the see the family and let them know that this girl's a human right that should be respected, which is above the customary law and the law. So for us, at that situation, because if it's not issues of human trafficking, all we need to direct them to appropriate agencies where it should be resolved.
Some ladies, some girls, they are more than 18 years old, but they are actually being forced. So, you know, is the same thing being applicable to them?
For
above 18,
above 18,
but yet forced into marriage.
Yes. We look at we look at the circumstantial evidence, and direct evidence too. Once a lady is forced and she is above 18 years or even under 18 years forced, there is no marriage, because a marriage needs a consent, and the lady above 18 to give consent. So if you can't place someone and allow it to stand, so if the lady is forced into this marriage, it should be litigated upon, and if the man is found culpable.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been an awesome discussion with you, Sam Ofia, the Commander National the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Enugu Zone. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, brother.